All right, welcome back to another Bomber football podcast. Got another edition here with a big New York State, contingent of guys. A lot of older guys on the team. A lot of guys who played, a super important part for us last year as well. So to just start it off, right? I'll have if you guys each want to, introduce yourself, say where you're from, right? Your major and grade you're going into this fall as well. Crowley, if you want to start us off.
What's up, guys? I'm John Crowley. I'm a fifth year tight end. I'm an applied psychology major, and I'm from Rochester, New York.
What's up, guys? I'm Joe Rico. I'm a fifth-year lineman. I'm a biology and anthropology major on a pre-med track, and I'm from Rockland County, New York.
My name is John Kumas. I'm going to be a senior. I am studying finance with concentration in wealth management and doubling in accounting.
Sweet. So a wide range of majors here, kind of a little bit all over the place. But start right, being New York State guys, right, having that experience to play at Yankee Stadium, right. Just talk a little bit about that, kind of what it was like from from your guys' perspective as players. John, if you want to start us off with that.
I always, whenever people ask me about it, I always say it was like the best day of my life. It was truly like an awesome experience to see, you grow up being from New York, you watch Yes Network, you watch Yankee games, and then to eventually be on Yes Network and see all the Yankees locker rooms and get a tour of the facility. It was awesome, and it was humbling to see all the greats that have played in the stadium before you.
Yeah, so being from Rockland County, I'm only 45 minutes from the city. So growing up, I went to a ton of Yankee games. And playing in one of the most historic sports venues in the history of sports was pretty cool. That was definitely one of the best sporting experiences of my life. It was really cool having my entire family out there too, and all my boys from home came, and getting the win that day was huge too. That was definitely a great day.
Yeah, I mean, you both perfectly said it. It really was a surreal experience. Like at certain points, you almost black out while you're on the field and in there because you're just this is unreal. And then you kind of look back. Like a couple of weeks ago, I went to a Yankee game there, and I was I looked down. I played on this field. I'm pretty sure I made a tackle right over there in that corner. It was unbelievable.
That's awesome. Definitely looking back on that. I'm sure being in the stands is obviously different. But switching gears, going talk a little bit more academically. Obviously, a little bit different. All guys different major wise, right? Coming into fifth years, coming into senior year as well. Joe, if you want to start us off with this one, but kind of just talk a little bit about your experience. Coming into school. If you knew what you wanted to do, if you kind of figured it out here, right, and then just your experience. Academically at Ithaca, especially major wise.
Yeah, so I came in on a pre-med track. I came in just as a biology major, and I picked up an anthropology major after my junior year. Anthropology major isn't available anymore, but they still have the minor, and all the classes in that minor are super intimate, small. All the professors are amazing. They work with you great. I had my advisor as a professor for a few semesters and really got to know each other pretty well. And that was an awesome experience. I would definitely recommend that as a minor. But for the biology major, you definitely get a diverse array of classes with your freshman prereqs, having some larger class sizes, and then working up into your 300 and 400 level classes, getting more smaller and intimate, and you get to know your professors really well, especially being on a pre-med track, having pre-med advisors in your major that you get to know. It really helps you applying or looking for jobs or anything with the next step after college.
John Kumas, what about you? Kind of coming into school is obviously a lot of guys in the business school here as well. Is that kind of something you always had in mind coming into school, or something you kind of picked up here as well?
Yeah. So when I first started, I knew I was definitely going into something that involved numbers. I've always been a math guy. My grandmother was a math teacher. It's always kind of ran in the family, and I love talking to people. So what's a better combination of the two than managing people's money and just building those relationships with them? So going into the business school, I wasn't fully sure of what track. So I went into finance, and then I kind of figured out my way from there. And then when you start out in the business school, you take all the basic accounting, So, adding that on a secondary concentration is just like, it's basically, it's so easy to figure out because you're already starting out in both the, well, just continue that path because it helps with basic business in every single way.
And Crowley, what about you? Kind of just, same deal. Did you kind of have an idea of what you wanted to do coming in here, or just, figuring it out kind of as you went, along the way?
Yeah, I've always kind of been into like getting to know people on like a more intimate level, which is why I wanted to go with psychology. I knew that there wasn't like a ton of psychology majors on the team, but the college really made it easy. One thing I really like about the program is you're like required within the major to join a research team. So that exposes you to like the field of research, and that kind of narrows it down to let you know kind of what you want to get into with that psychology major. So that's probably my favorite thing about the major.
Sweet. What did you do? What kind of research team did you join? What did you guys have to do for it?
We looked at like children's TV programs and kind of how there's like gender messages and like stereotypes within those programs. So it was a really cool experience.
And then Joe or John, you can take this one as well, but just kind of, academically with some of the internships or other experiences, what kind of stuff, have you been, exposed to internship wise or work wise, just, related to academics while you've been here as well?
Yeah, so for biology, you also need a research component to get your degree. You don't have to do your research in biology necessarily. I did my research more genetic based. We were looking at different genes associated with like birth defect disorders, and we were looking at them in different model species. Mine was a type of worm, but the research component in school is really well. You work with your advisor, and you can basically pick who you do research under. So that was an awesome experience. And then there's a ton of other opportunities. Like I did an internship in health. I shadowed our head team physician, Dr. Getson, for a spring in the fall, for a semester in the spring of 2022. And that was an awesome experience to go into the field that I want to pursue and get some experience in that. So.
And John, what about you as well?
I mean, going off that, everyone that's in the business school, they kind of, all the classes you take are the same as everyone else, but it really, you get into your like niche specific, what you really want to do and figure out when you join any of the clubs. There's so many student ran clubs throughout the business school that are kind of backed by professors that have been at the biggest accounting firms in the top like big four, or like at one of the biggest banks in the world. I'm pretty sure the dean of the business school was like a millionaire on Wall Street before he came to Ithaca. So like they all have great experience in the field and try to pass that on to the students who then run those clubs that also have great internships and, kind of lead you and figure out ways for you to be able to get those and introduce you to the people that will help you out.
No, I think that's definitely a big thing. I know all you guys talk about just being able to, actually get experience in things you want to do as well, being a big, selling point for you guys and a lot of people as well. But switching back to football a little bit, right? Two offensive guys, one defensive guy here as well. Just what are some things, you like about, the culture of the team, from an offensive and defensive perspective, right? So I know Kumos being the lone defensive guy here, we can start with you. Just, when you were looking, when you were looking at Ithaca, what were some that drew you to the school culture wise, just, defensively?
I mean, the biggest thing was when I came to watch, I saw Nick Garone out on the field, and he was just an absolute dog. Like he looked like he ran the entire show on defense. And I was like, that's the type of linebacker that I want to be, playing at a school like this with a defense that's just full of dogs. And the biggest thing that we always like kind of harp on is like everyone running to the ball. And you see clips of other teams' defenses, some of the guys are lazy, jogging across the field. And then you see clips of our defense, and it's like you get 11 hats to the football every time, and whoever's running the ball just does not want to get back up for the next play.
So that's perfect. I know John Crowley, you see that I'm sure a little bit in practice here, but talk offensively, just culture wise, what are some things that certainly stand out for you, obviously from last year, and then moving into your fifth year here as well?
The biggest thing for me offensively, and I think a reason for a lot of our success offensively, is because like every skill position player that gets the ball, every lineman, like we're all selfless. Like none of us care like who has the catches, how many yards did I have. That like none of us care about that. Like we literally like we just want to sacrifice for the team because winning ultimately feels better than having like 3 touchdown receptions. Like I'd rather win than do that. So I think the selflessness of the team as a whole is definitely the component that I like the most about our offense.
Joe, what about you? Obviously, coming from an O line perspective, probably a little bit different from Crowley in terms of catching touchdown passes, but
Yeah, no, I mean, Crowley said it well. The selflessness of the offense. I love how many guys that we get involved from the skill position aspect. But something that I really love about our offense is that you don't have to do anything superhuman. You know, you just got to do your job, do your 1/11th every play, and when the ball's in our hands, something special is going to happen. You know, just everybody do their assignment every play, and you don't have to go above and beyond because we have playmakers everywhere on the field.
I love that. Definitely excited for that coming in here in the last few months and obviously getting ready to go in the next few weeks. But last question for you guys, right? All New York State guys, right? We play a ton of different schools in New York, right? So what ultimately drew all you guys, right, to Ithaca College, right? And kind of just, in terms of what some other schools were recruiting you and kind of why Ithaca for all of you guys. Joe Rico, we can start with you.
Yeah, so two things were kind of the biggest factors for me. First, the final 3 schools that I was in between were kind of Ithaca, Muhlenberg, and Wesleyan. But the things that really distinguished Ithaca for me were the approachability of the guys on the team already and the college town. I reached out to a defensive end when I was in the recruiting process, John Haddock, and he was on a pre-med track, and just his approachability and his willingness to lend his time to me as a high schooler at the time was something that really stuck with me and I appreciated. And then coming up to Ithaca a few times before I committed, just seeing the college town and Cornell being so close in the Commons, there's always something going on in the Commons, whether it's Apple Fest or Porch Fest or anything like that. Just the college town up there is a great atmosphere and that's a great vibe.
Elia, what about you?
For me, the reason I wanted to come here was just because, like, when I visited before I committed, like, all the guys in the team were like, everybody looked like they were best friends. Like, that's the kind of team I like to be on, where like everybody's so close. Like, you can mess with anybody on the team, whether they're number 1 or they're number 130 on the team. Like, everybody's so close, and like we're all just like, even like now, like we're all just boys. Like, we all just like messing around, messing with each other. And as far as like the other schools I was looking at, like a lot of other Liberty League schools like RPI, Hobart, and University of Buffalo for like a PWO. But when I went there, like I went there, I was like, I don't like it doesn't feel right. And then I came here and I was like, this just like feels like the place I want to be. Like the guys are so cool and like I like the office that we're in and we win games. So why would I not come to Ithaca,
And John Kumar, what about you as well?
Yeah, I mean, those reasons are exactly why I picked the school. Also, I mean, one of the biggest things football wise was just seeing like, that culture that I was explaining before, that high energy from both sides of the ball. The coaches were just as excited as players were when plays were happening. And then going back to like academic, the business school here is Bloomberg certified, which I think only a number of schools in the country get, which is a huge thing to, either put on a resume or just say your school had when applying for jobs or internships. And, then there's the social life too. There's always something going on. You can always have a good time with people on the football team, off the football team. You go into the commons, you can walk around. There's always something to do there.
Love that. All great answers for sure. All right, a few weeks out from training camp here. What is one thing each of you is looking forward, right, to getting back once you're back in Ithaca, getting to do once you're back in Ithaca?
Oh,
play
I could
football.
definitely say living in 117.
They
Playing
haven't
football.
putting the pads on, but it's being around all the guys. Like Crowley said, top to bottom, it's every single guy on the team. We're all best friends, and now I'm basically these guys. It's been a few months, so excited to see everyone.
That's very true. Haven't talked to half the guys on the team in so long, coaches too. It's gonna be a nice little family reunion.
All right, perfect. Thank you guys very much. We'll see you in a few weeks back on campus here. Thank you guys. So this concludes our our final episode of the Bomber Football Podcast this year.
Oh yeah.
Sure.